by the Life Foundation, a series of webinars where we will talk about women empowerment. And our today's topic is gender inequality. Together we can eradicate prejudice. So I welcome all the speakers, our eminent speakers, and all the attendees who are here. This initiative is started by Professor Dr. V.G. Caroline, and this is being live telecast on C8 TV. Okay, so here we begin. May I invite Professor Dr. V.G. Caroline for her welcome notes, please.
Good evening, one and all. I invite and welcome every dignitary to this platform as we are discussing on the topic gender inequality, and we all together we can eradicate prejudice. So we know that there is a lot of inequality, especially on gender. We want to support, encourage women and girl children, as they are facing a lot of issues, there is a lot of violence on girl and women, especially sexual harassment, domestic violence, and there is no proper education for girls. Girls are not encouraged to study, and that doesn't have power on the ownership. And even we have noticed, though we say that we are moving ahead, marching ahead, we are well qualified, but even then, as we are moving towards the development, but we notice in certain countries, girls are not allowed to get proper education, and even in the highest, they're not to be placed in highest positions like in MSS and all. So we find that the eminent women, the global leaders are very less. So we want to have eminent women leaders on the platform. So these all women leaders join together and they work collectively for the upliftment of the girl child and also women who are facing a lot of inequality. So there is no right to suppress them or oppress them, as God has bestowed us with all the natural resources equally, and we need to enjoy all the comforts of the nature. So one cannot suppress or oppress other persons. So here, especially women and girl child, they are suppressed and oppressed very badly. And we find a lot of issues. Every day we'll be hearing one or other cases, and especially because of the lockdown and COVID-19 pandemic, we are not hearing rape cases in India, but otherwise we used to hear almost every day 5 to 6 cases which are known. But there are many other rape cases which are not noticed by the public. So this is what it has to be addressed. So women and girls are much oppressed and they're facing a lot of problem in the society. So we all educated women and who are placed in good position, let's work together and fight for the girl and woman to live bravely and boldly and to be placed very comfortably. So every prejudice has to be eradicated. It is our right, our motto. So thank you very much for all the eminent speakers who are here, and we all together fight for the upliftment of the girl children. And we know that United Nations has established Sustainable Development Goals 17 in the year 2015, and it has to be accomplished by 2030. So these sustainable development goals cannot be established by one individual, cannot be established by one organization. It is a responsibility of every citizen to implement effectively and efficiently. Then only we can bring a great changes in the minds of the people and have better society. So we are concentrating on SDG 5, especially on the empowerment of girl and women. Thank you very much. I invite now Dr. Parin Somani from United Kingdom. Ma'am, a warm welcome to you, ma'am. She is an independent academic scholar, educator, international motivational speaker, and author. She holds 5 doctorate degrees and 4 book of records. She is Vice Chancellor, International Internship University. She is a multi-international award winner. Ma'am, I invite warmly and heartily Dr. Parin Somani to inaugurate the online live webinar series officially. Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Parin Samani. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Caroline ma'am.
Congratulations, Caroline ma'am, and congratulations to each and everybody sitting on this platform. And I really want to say that it is now my privilege to announce the start of the first webinar series as the inaugurator of this event of the women empowerment. The 5th goal of Sustainable Development Goal and gender inequality set by United Nations to begin. I will hand over to our lovely and only dear and near moderator, Deepa Chaudhary.
Thank you so much, Parin ma'am. Congratulations to Caroline ma'am, and hope we run these series, these campaigns successfully in future. And let's initiate this first one. May I welcome our special guest, Ms. Jessie Ashe, for her words of wisdom, please. You need to unmute yourself, please.
Good morning from the US and good afternoon in the UK and good evening in India and everywhere in between. I want to thank the World Peace Commission and Raja Pagdipalli for inviting me here today. Thank you for the wonderful introductions, Caroline and Deepa. It's an honor to be among such an esteemed group of people. And I start today with an image of woman as a lighthouse. And we can easily see the image of the structure of the lighthouse as being the body of the woman designed to withstand the storms of nature. And we can imagine that the wiring within the system to be maybe her mind and her ability to create light. And the light that is created is the essence of humanity and her spirit. Unfortunately, as has been mentioned, it is fairly common for this light to be snuffed out. And if the structure is violated, then there is no light. And if the wiring within is torn apart, there can be no light. If you live in a country where female genital mutilation occurs, it's common for people to say that that's just the culture. And I would like to say that we can migrate culture. If we are in charge of a culture, we can change it. And it is unfortunate that the elder women of many tribes are inculcated into performing this rite that they call a ritual. I call on countries where this happens to simply change your culture, because you are destroying the physical structure of a lighthouse and destroying the ability to let the spirit shine. many people think, oh, Jesse, you come from a wealthy nation. There's no such thing as marginalization of women there. Well, I sit here today before you as a victim of rape. There is no exclusionary criteria for abuse or marginalization of women, no matter the income level, the education level, the wonderful nature of their family. Women are abused and raped daily in every country. And it is unfortunate that we cannot create a rape-free zone on Earth. We can call on all humans, including men, to be their best selves and to control themselves. Self-control is a general problem on this earth that if humans did not feel that they could lash out simply because they're offended, if they learned to control themselves despite their anger and to disagree civilly, for example, a lot of violence would go away. So I urge people around the world, not only for the sake of women, but to return to a place of civil disagreement and self-control. Beyond FGM or rape, there is an emotional and mental, it can be called abuse, or often it takes the form of, you just don't understand the right way, your ideas. And so even that is a slight to the light and the soul that can bring humanity to its next place. And so in the past speeches for women's rights and equality, I have spoken primarily to men. And today, though, I am speaking primarily to women. And in that light, I would like to say to all women out there, if you are being marginalized in your own home, if your ideas are seen as somehow less than, know that we are here. Many of us have overcome that situation, even in developed nations. And if somebody is violating the integrity of your structure, know that there is a place beyond that. Know that I am a living example of somebody who can overcome that. And many of us have those secrets inside of us that we have overcome. And know that if people are not treating you the way you should be treated, then reach out to us, to those of us who have overcome. It is not that we are somehow stronger. It's just that we are farther along in the process of overcoming. So have hope deep in your heart. If you have been violated, have faith that we are here for you. Find us. And as the philosopher Freire said, a person who is being, upon whom despotism has been placed, that person requires a network of people to help them come out from underneath that. We will help you. Know that you are right deep down inside of yourself, and don't lose yourself. Your light will shine again. My words today are brief, but that does not take away from their poignance. What I just said about myself, I've never said in public before. And I say that for people around the world to know that you can overcome, and we will help you. And I would like to take one moment to honor Father's Day. Congratulations to all men who have become fathers and who act like fathers and who actively participate in the raising up of wonderful men who respect their wives. I'm happy to take questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jessie. And we are delighted to host you here at this inauguration session. And it was, my heart goes out to you. It was, what should I say? It was wonderful to get to know you and to have you here. And hope we have you in our other sessions as well in future. Of course, I'm delighted from the bottom of my heart.
Thank
questions
you.
Questions we will take at the end of this session. Now I invite our next speaker, Dr. Ruby Bakshi Khurdi, TEDx speaker from Switzerland. I request all the speakers to please conclude in a 10 minutes time slot due to the interest of time. Dr. Ruby, welcome. So lovely to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Deepa, for the welcome. And what can I say? You know, while listening to Jessie, my heart just stopped beating. We were thinking of something, you know, the session is going to be talking about how can we empower, but we started with a woman who is already coming forward and saying she herself was one of the victims. But that should not deter. That should not deter other women who are from the developing countries. Very well said, Jessie. It's normal when women think you are from a developed country, you are strong. Even though internally, each one of us is strong. Every woman is strong. You know, we don't need to be empowered. We are the ones who are giving birth. We are the ones who are getting life in this world. We don't need to be empowered. But the fact, when something happens which is not planned, when something happens unfortunate, it's always the woman who is blamed. And that's the mindset that we need to change. We can't let that happen, because every time, whenever there's some noise, something good happens, the men, or I would say everyone, takes the limelight. But when something unfortunate happens, it's always the woman to be blamed. Why are you wearing such revealing clothes? Why are you wearing such a dress that is kind of attracting attention? That mindset needs to be changed. It doesn't matter whether you're in England, in America, in Switzerland, or in India. Everywhere, the mindset remains the same. And that's why we have to all come together, men, women, and children. It has to start from the beginning, when the kid is small. Teach your boys to respect women, and teach your girls to say no to any kind of injustice, any kind of discrimination that happens. Because what happens is, when we fall victim, we are told to keep quiet. And that's the mindset that people have to come forward and change and say, no, if there is something, speak up. You need to address the problem, not hush it away. Because if you don't address the problem, how will the world know what you're going through? We women always want to camouflage our feelings. When we are happy, we show the world we are happy by putting it on social media, by telling it to people, calling people. But when we are suffering, I'm asking all the women who are watching and listening right now, when we are suffering, do we ever share those pictures on any media? When we are sick, when we are nurturing our sick child, when we are nurturing our old parents, do we ever ask anyone? Do we ever show those moments anywhere? The answer is no. Because we women always want to show that everything is perfect. Everything is okay when it is not okay. And I say it's fine that sometimes it's not okay to be okay, but please speak about it. Please speak it and spit it out of the system, because the more you will share, the more you reach out, the more people will collaborate and help you fight that situation. I remember 3 years ago when I was speaking at United Nations here in Switzerland, in Geneva, I told loud and clear to the women who were from African countries where they talked about GTM, and they said, "We have been suffering, sister, we need your help. How can you help us?" And I said, it is simple. Whenever there is any person suffering, that is your gender inequality is your human right. You have to address it. You have to spit it out of the system, because only when you speak about it, people will know what you're going through and how it can be in practice. And I remember at that point of time, if I'm not mistaken, it was the UN General Secretary General, who clearly said, limited gains in gender equality and women's rights made for over decades are in danger of being rolled back due to COVID-19. Why due to COVID-19? Because during this period of time, these women, they were locked in the room, they were locked in the houses with their abusers, with the people who were beating them, who were misusing them, who were making life even more miserable. Women are not only the hardest hit during pandemic, they are also the backbone of recovery in the communities. If you look back, during pandemic, all the nations led by women, correct me if I'm wrong, all the nations led by women were the ones who sprang back, were the ones who did an amazing job. And that is what is important, and that's what needs to be seen, that putting women and girls at the center of economies will fundamentally drive better and more sustainable development outcomes for everyone. Even COVID-19, the response, I'm just trying to quote the response of UN. During COVID-19, the response was loud and clear, where they prioritized on 5 main things. Gender-based violence, including domestic violence, which was hitting really high. As I said, when women were locked with their abusers, there was nothing else but people fighting and making life miserable. Number 2, social protection and economic stimulus packages were served to women and girls especially. Because even the girls, small girls, sometimes they don't even know what is happening with them. Sometimes they're not even aware that their bodies are being misused. Number 3, people support and practice equal sharing of care work. Whenever you see a victim, wherever you see a person who has suffered rape or who has suffered any kind of an issue, whether it's rape, whether it's inequality at work, whether she has not been given a promotion which was long due, you just tell them, it's okay, it will happen next time. Don't worry. You are in the queue, you're in the line. But how much can you console such people when it is not being given at the right time, when you're looking forward to it? Number 4, women and girls lead and participate in COVID-19 response planning and decision making. It is important to involve them, even though they are called the weaker section. They are not weak. Even though they are called the weaker sex, they are not weak. They might be physically weak in terms of lifting heavy things, but they are not physically weak when they can endure a child. When they can give birth, they are not weak. They are much, much stronger. But it is just the way people look at it, they are always known as a weaker sex. And that's what needs to be changed and come out of it. Number 5, data and coordination mechanisms include gender perspectives. Wherever we are talking about such kind of issues, it needs to be addressed in a very, very strong way. And I feel myself fortunate enough to be speaking at such a platform where I'm representing the teachers' fraternity. As an educationist, I proudly say that I am constantly working here in Switzerland and with all my sister networks all over the world with women and men. We can't say only women networks because these are the networks that give you the boost. But we need men as well, because in few years down the line, we don't want our men to say, we need men empowerment. So that's the reason we all need to work together and remove the stigma of women being social or weaker or stigma of some kind. We have to come out of that thing, and it's only possible if you educate the masses, educate them how to treat women, educate them, also the women, how to treat men, because everyone commands respect. You give respect, you get respect. It's a simple formula. Guys, it's something simple which you just need to understand. If you are disrespecting somebody today sitting at a higher pedestal, tomorrow, who knows, he or she is at a higher level and he will do that same to you. So whatever you say, this, as in science they say, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So guys, why don't we start that practice now? It is call for action. The goal 5 of United Nations SDG says clearly, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. It's right on, bang on, clear. But still, we need to work on it. Even though there are loads and loads of commissions working on it, we here talking about it, discussing at different forums of Women Economic Forum or Female Wave of Change. There are tons and tons of social networks talking about. But it will only change if we are working on it together. And we stands for everyone, both men and women and children. We can't execute or we can't say that they are not included at the moment because they are small. No, when they are small, that's the right age to educate them. You can only empower if you practice the 3E. I always emphasize on 3E, that is educate, empathize, and empower. The 3E approach is very strong, very simple. Everyone knows it, but not many follow it. And it is only possible if we join hands. Doesn't matter which part of the world you are, doesn't matter where you are living, you have to be connected. If you want to connect with such people, you don't have to think she's far away or she's just a stone throw distance away. If you need to connect, you just need to click on the right kind of networks, because even though we are in the digital era, it's easy to connect. It's also sometimes easy to be misled. There are loads and loads of organizations which say something and do something. So please be careful. Don't fall in the trap, because if you do so, you will not even know how much you're going into it. So the call of action is only possible if everyone joins hands, educates themselves every single day. This has to be a consistent approach, not just now because we are together speaking in a forum. We do it with a bang right now. It stays there for 10 days and boof, gone away. No, then it's not going to change. Such things are to be consistent. And I think Ma'am Caroline accepts it very well. She started this initiative. That's great. But with this initiative, I think more and more women should come forward, stick together. Those who have been victims, they can be sharing their stories and, motivating others. If I can do, you can do as well. It could be something about, being victim about something or being neglected about something. You were getting in a promotion, but you were told no. Any kind of inequality needs to be shared, needs to be spoken up. And when it is spoken up, do not blame, empathize with that person. Because when you start blaming, the other person starts feeling, why did I say? Then they start repenting. We don't want that. We want people to share so that others can come forward and give that helping hand. I am there for you. Because
Wonderful,
when you say this word, Deepa, when you say this word, Dr. Raja Rao, what he's doing as a man, he's supporting so many women together. When you do this, I'm sure the society is going to change. We are not far away. We are walking. We are marching gradually. And I'm sure when we have more men like Dr. Raja Rao coming together and more women like Dr. Caroline coming together, on different kinds of forums, we'll definitely bring about a change and we'll definitely move towards a more progressive nation. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, Ruby. Wonderful. I resonate with you so totally. In the interest of time, I would invite my next speaker, Dr. Parin Samani, to share her views on how and her views about how Ruby has spoken and how does she relate to that. Not audible, Dr. Samani. You need to unmute yourself, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please. Yes.
Thank you very much, Deepa, once again for bringing me back again on this forum. First of all, I would like to say hello to everyone and thank you for inviting me again. And the event which Dr. Caroline and Dr. Raja Rao are creating, it's an amazing platform. The Life Foundation, of the initiative which Professor Dr. Caroline and Dr. Raja Rao and the organizing team are bringing this webinar series on the gender inequality together speaks itself. How we can eradicate prejudice. And it is my privilege once again, to be with all the eminent speakers, which we already heard, Jessie and Jessica and Dr. Ruby as well. And the way things are moving so fast, yes, we have to bring it out. But as we all know that, the United Nations have 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which includes, I'll go through quickly the goals as well. Number 1 was the no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education. And the number 5th, which we are working on in today's webinar series, is gender inequalities. Now, number 6 is clean water and sanitization. Number 7, affordable and clean energy. Number 8, decent work and economic growth. Number 9, industry innovation and infrastructure. Number 10, reduce the inequalities. And number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Number 12, responsible consumption and production. Number 13, climate action. Number 14, life below water. Number 15, life on land. And number 16, peace, justice, and strong institution. And number 17, my lucky number, partnerships for the goal. So today we are delivering into the 5th Sustainable Development Goal, gender equality, which is still very much an issue with the contemporary world. Gender equality is a fundamental human right of each person in society and a vital foundation for a peaceful and a sustainable world. Although there has been progression over the years and over the last few years, including more females acquiring education through attending schools, less forced and early marriages. More females are being appointed leadership positions and also serving in the parliament or governing bodies. That is a very proud. There is still a requirement to advance gender equalities further. However, there are still many challenges that as a female figure, what I personally face, and I'm sure all female person are facing the same way, that are present, including the social norms and the laws that are deemed discriminatory. Within political leadership roles, women are still underrepresented. We all know that the COVID-19 pandemic is affected, and you heard what Dr. Ruby mentioned, that how it was being affected and how the women were treated. That's a very sad that they have affected individually, globally, not in a one country, not in a one state, but in a global platform. And a multitude of aspects, including socially, economically, and politically. Women in societies around the world have been challenged substantially. Although gender equality has gradually improved, many factors still require focus on existing gender barriers have been exacerbated. For example, occupational gender stereotyping, bullying, sexual harassment, and domestic violence. According to the United Nations, 1 in 3 women worldwide, even before the pandemic, experienced physical or sexual violence, mostly by an intimate partner. Violence against women and girls in human rights violation. During the pandemic, data and reports from the frontline workers have shown that the different types of violence against women and girls, particularly domestic violence, has intensified, with the harassment and the violence against women still continuing to occur on streets and on the public places, which is not very nice when we hear our sisters or our communities or our family or the people whom we are connected are being treated not nicely. With the rising number of COVID cases, global health services are strained. Essentially, services like domestic violence, shelters, and helpline have reached the capacity. Although some countries' efforts have been made to help women encountering challenges, we need to know and give them a more priority addressing violence against women with efficient response and timely recovery efforts. However, this needs to be a global collective effort, not one person, not one state, not one country, but we globally we have to work on it. And what Dr. Caroline have brought this initiative on this platform, yes, we can all work together. But during lockdown, women are staying at home, looking after their families, carrying out the domestic duties, aiming to balance their occupation, working from home, or their educational endeavors. Many women are feeling lonely and harbor feelings of uncertainty and fear, leading to negative mental health implications like anxiety and depression. Women are residing in poverty and lower socio-economic environment, and they do not have access to modern sanitization or sanitary products. This is due to lack of access, financial instability, and government restrictions, aiming to keep individuals safe, reducing virus transmission, simultaneously impacting quality of life for women's sustainability. The United Nations have identified that women have been hit hard by the pandemic, which proved by our speakers, but they are also the primary way through which communities recover. By placing females at economic center, will produce better sustainable outcomes and promote a faster recovery. There is a need to include women in this planning decision-making process. As we enter the normal world, there needs to be equally in unpaid care, care work and an inclusive care economy. The requirement for socio-economic plan that concentrate on the future of female of all ages. The UN has 5 priorities that will help to like to put things together to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on female and hopefully turn eradicate prejudice. There must be a reduction in gender-based violence, including domestic violence, a framework to support females by providing social protection and economic stimulus. The support and the practice, equal sharing of care work, the involvement of females leading and participating in response planning and decision-making process, and also data and coordination mechanism, including gender perspective. By empowering women, one entire family and a future generation. Therefore, educating individuals within society is vital. In this ever-changing world, creative change in every capacity through motivation to build themselves and uniting and strength and with support to facilitate positive change. I believe women can flourish. They can flourish, and this will aid towards a just and a resilient world. Unfortunately, many minds, unfortunately, because of the system what's working right now. But I do understand that many have come and said that they are bored in this pandemic and they want to leave the home. But I say to them, show your gratitude for the opportunity to be safe in your home and create a beautiful place, because it is opportunity to harbor peace within yourself and homes. Believe me or not, only by having this forum together and by working together, we can eradicate prejudice and facilitate societies towards a more and more in the future, to bring the silence of the women, bring them out. And having this opportunity given to me, I would say, yes, by working together, we can make a positive global change. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Caroline, Dr. Raja Rao, and our lovely moderator Deepa, for having me here and sharing my knowledge with all our eminent speakers. Namaste and have a lovely day.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Samani. Like you on our sessions. In the interest of time, I have more speakers to go. I invite Ms. Califatian Zones from USA. She's the CEO of G Books LLC, and also a singer.
Hi,
welcome, Ms. Jones.
Hi. My name is Tiana Jones. I'm an author, singer, songwriter, concept creator, economic developer, and currently I am the founder of Women's Lives Do Exist, as well as All Lives Do Exist. The title of my autobiography is called Cali Girl: How Did You Make It in the Treacherous Streets of Detroit? The book is able to show people how to heal from sexual, physical, mental, verbal abuse, as well as death loss, addiction issues, and any transitional change. Thank you for having me here. And today has been an inspiration, seeing all women from all over the world coming together, showing their emotions and showing that they have conquered themselves within. You have all been a true inspiration speaking, and all emotions have been able to be, and it is very knowledgeable for me as the youth, even though I'm in my 30s, to be able to learn and educate myself from watching you all. So thank you for having me. And God knows we all are in divine order for women to come together and be respected as spiritual beings. There is going to be a time where God will provide those things for us, united through all of these nations, speak. To say that they all knew from their experiences. The eyes of God know that Christ exists within us all. Women's lives do exist. You must all look deep within and find true value within your heart, because the heart can set you free, and the truth shall set us all free. God bless you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jones. Absolutely. And we wish all the best for your new book and to your initiative. Thank you so much. Moving on to our next speaker, last but not the least, Ms. Anamika Singh, Dr. Anamika Singh. Welcome, Dr. Anamika, and we would love to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Deepa Chaudhary. Thank you so much. Am I visible?
Yes, you are visible, audible very clearly. Please go
Thank
ahead.
you so much. Thank you so much. Greetings, esteemed Wonder Woman on this forum and all the viewers. I, Dr. Anamika Singh, Director Simca. Simca is located in Pune. Feel really ecstatic to voice on this apt topic, gender inequality. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Raja Rao for giving this opportunity. Thank you so much. I'm truly delighted to voice on such topic because being a human, we can't be mute spectators. When it comes to voice about gender inequality, we, the women, feel that the different chapters of our life has been turned again. We all have experienced and tasted the bitterness at some point in time, the inequality. Inequality begins right from the birth, rather, right to take birth. If we take the example of India, the previous census taken in 2011 claims that we had just 940 female vis-a-vis 1,000 male. And still the ratio is 48% of female and 52% of male. Shouldn't we be worried that female are not allowed to take birth even? Female feticide is always very high, and it's a matter of concern. Now, taking this discussion ahead, while raising the kids, we always find the difference in upbringing in both genders. In most of the families, we find the difference in raising of both the genders. Albeit, education has changed the mindset of people. However, I really feel that desired change is still. We always find more restrictions are imposed on female than male. Mentally, physically, socially, they are asked and expected to be in certain ways. Even when it comes to give opportunities, just a couple of years ago, females were not allowed for some professional fields, and I'm talking about India. So females are not allowed for some professional fields, and still they are paid less. The disparity is quite evident. There are numerous Bollywood stars who are paid starkly and significantly less than their male counterpart. This is not just in India. However, it is quite evident across globe. We can take the example of remark given by Emma Watson about pay parity. It doesn't restrict to pay parity, but the patriarchal society obtrudes itself in various ways. If not, female are belittled or demeaned by professional acumen and overall capabilities, they are mentally harassed by sexist comments and physically harassed by various other means. There are numerous instances across globe, even in political realm, such as Scottish, Polish, and if you take the example of Indian Parliament, where female counterparts were harassed mentally. In Indian Parliament, just a couple of months ago, there was one politician who had dared to make sexist remark against the chair in the Parliament. Similarly, we had come across many sexist remarks of politicians in Western countries. We all understand that genders are different. They are biologically different, they're psychologically different, and even the cultural distinctions are there. Some of these distinctions are empirically grounded. However, some are socially constructed, and the voices of ours are again socially constructed differences, which are not at all acceptable. Not at all. When it comes to voice about genders, yes, it was truly said by Dr. Ruby. Do we really need empowerment? We are so powerful. We don't need to be empowered. We are truly, truly empowered people. We give birth to the men. We give birth to the mankind. Why do we need to be empowered? We are very powerful people. It's just that the society needs to understand this. And I really feel if people like Dr. Raja Rao and these people, if we all come together and voice for this, the social construct even will change. Everything will change. Now, talking about these distinctions, some of these distinctions which are empirically grounded, however, some are socially constructed, which I really feel are not acceptable. When it comes to voice about genders, why only female? Please tell me why only female? My experience says, seriously, I'm very serious about that. Why only female? Why not to talk about male equality as well? They also suffer, please. They really suffer. My experience says even at many occasions, male are also restricted and they are not allowed to express their emotion. If you see, you will find that at home, the male children are always taught not to cry. Why? They can't express their emotions. Male are taught to be strong and conditioned in such a way that since childhood, they're not allowed to express their emotions. It is not a kind of, is it not a kind of mental harassment? Please tell me. You are not allowed to offload your emotional baggage and many more. Now, since we have discussed about these two gender, because I have been asked to talk about the gender equality, I feel it's very important to have the inclusion of all the genders. If we are talking about male and female gender, why not to the other gender as well? Are we talking? On most of the forum, you'll find people will talk about, when it comes to gender inequality, people will talk about only female empowerment. Why are we not talking about male empowerment as well? Why are we not talking about the other gender?
Wonderful, wonderful, Dr. Anamika. Wonderful. I must say, you have brought in a different angle to this entire session, and we are finding it so interesting now that we have only 4 minutes left. And
yeah, so I'll just conclude
the session will end on its own after.
Okay, so I'll just
minutes.
conclude it. So since we have discussed about these two genders, the third one, which is still waiting for their social inclusion, is non-binary gender. Are we truly interested in transformation of social construct? Then we really need to think right from the basic thought process and our mindset. It's not just their inclusion in terms of acknowledging them socially, rather we need to accept them wholeheartedly and must start giving all kind of recognition and opportunities. I really feel that we must think of absolute transformation of social construct in terms of inclusion, giving opportunities and giving absolute freedom to all these genders equally. This only will be the gender equality in true sense. This is from my side. Thank you so much once again. Thank you, Deepa. You had been such a beautiful moderator. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I wanted to hear you more and more. And I request the organizers, the founders, to please invite her again. And I really want to host that show and listen to her, and even want to be audience even if I'm not moderating the session. So in the interest
thank you so much, Dr. Raja Rawan. Yes.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Carolyn. 2 minutes. Okay, I'm Dr. Carolyn. So I'm very happy to see all the eminent speakers who supported us. Really, on behalf of our eminent speakers and women gender, I would like to say this is not only simply webinars. We don't talk, but we act. So definitely we are implementing even in our day-to-day life. As a psychologist, I will be taking up these cases. Like ma'am said, Parin ma'am, about this domestic violence. So definitely we are addressing every problem, ma'am. This is not in simple words, but it's going to be acted and implemented in action. Definitely we are going to look ahead for the welfare of the society, and you all will be joined with us and we march ahead. I would like to thank Dr. Parin Somani ma'am. Thank you very much for the wonderful speech. You have given us good insight about especially the domestic violence. Really, it is by the known people only. That's true, ma'am. It is I address them. So thank you very much. I would like to thank Dr. Jessie Ash ma'am from USA. Your wonderful speech, ma'am. You have strengthened us with your speech. I'm very much happy, ma'am, seeing you on this platform. I would like to thank Caliphate Tian Zone USA. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your wonderful speech. And you have related God and human beings. Really, without the guidance of the spiritual and the spirit of God, we cannot do anything. We feel that with the support of divine energy, we are moving ahead and working for the welfare of the society. It's true, ma'am. So we have to take the support of God. Without God, we cannot do anything. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your wonderful insights and inputs. You have strengthened us a great way, ma'am. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Ruby Bakshi Kurdi, TEDx speaker. Ma'am, thank you very much for your excellent speech. You said that we have to educate the masses. It's true, ma'am, and we have to concentrate on 3 years. It is wonderful, ma'am. Definitely, we are going to concentrate. And also, I would like